Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this event. Thank you very much, Dijimakan, for giving the opportunity to come here and speak to you. And I think listening to all of you with the introductions, it's such a wide people coming from different industries and different functions. I think I am more interested in learning from you. So please let's try to make it conversational and help me learn as well while we go through some topics. Uh, Quick introduction from my side. I didn't get that box, but yeah, here I am. So my name is Shadab Khan. I'm a director with Cognizant. Cognizant is a Fortune 200 technology consulting and operations organization. You can see the banner standee there. Uh, we we've got operations globally. For some of you, I don't know if some of you have seen, we've got we sponsor Acton Martin also. So Cognizant is an IT company, ITES company that supports other organizations with keeping up with the technology. So amongst other under the large Cognizant umbrella, I am part of the digital marketing horizontal or digital marketing practice. We've got around I think 10 to 15,000 people globally supporting multiple clients, some tech platforms, the big ones like Google, Meta, etc. A lot of digital marketing agencies, we work with them driving automation, standardization, etc. So I'm going to talk about some of that in the coming slides. So again, with that intro, I'll get into the slides. So again, the topic of today's discussion is making marketing operations efficient. Now, I understand it's a sort of a boring topic, right? It's not fun. Driving efficiencies can sometimes sound like you're you're trying to manage the resources that you have. You're trying to reduce cost, reduce headcount, etc. But again, uh, I think just moving on to the exact summary, right? It's important in today's world. Again, preaching to the choir here, but you pick up any business newspaper, you see recession, economic slowdown. At least make a word cloud, you'll see that 20 times at least, right? So we feel that this is an important topic, and especially now, a lot of our clients who we have been working with on some of the other aspects have shown a lot of interest in driving efficiencies in their operations. So moving on, right? Again, what we hear from a lot of marketing managers, campaign managers is again the margins are reducing. There is a pressure. The revenues aren't flowing in as they were. The product complexity is increasing. You know, you've got the cookie-less world, you've got AI, ML pressure. You know, automate, standardize, etc. And you've got in your organization, some of you, if you manage large teams, you would be seeing a lot of churn. You know, you're going through the era of great resignation. So in all that, what can we do, right? So okay, enough of doom and gloom. We'll get into the solutions, right? So, but this was just to set the context of why we are talking about it right now. Why is it important? Uh, so again, in your operations, in your respective worlds, if you are you're managing a P&L, managing a team of uh, campaign managers. This These are the five pillars that we believe, and we've worked extensively with a large number of digital marketing agencies and clients who've got their digital marketing in-house marketing teams. These are the five sort of pillars that we work on, and we recommend them to work on to really make their operations leaner, and also it just doesn't improve efficiency. It also helps you drive more, make your operations more effective, right? So again, I know it's sort of generic right now, but bear with me. So we'll talk about some of these. So standardization, the first topic, and I've got some slides for each one of these five. So that's how the presentation is broken down. Uh, and again, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to uh, share, if you have any experience in that, if you've seen something that has worked for you, uh, and we'll go from there. So again, standardization is just do what you say, and just write what you say, and do whatever you write, just do that. Uh, Product automation is leveraging the AI ML features of the product. So again, if you uh, the second and third pillar, they look very similar. Again, someone with my eyesight would think that it's the same thing written twice. But one is product automation. The third pillar is the process automation. So product is leverage the AI ML features or the automation features available to you within the product, any platform that you use. Uh, and specialization, again, talks about talent before technology. And the last one is hubbing vendorization. So that's how we have the next, you know, 30, 40 minutes structured. So I'll move on to the core of it. So again, if you see the picture on the top left, again, if you've not seen box plots that much in life, this might look to you like skyline of New York or Dubai, but it is really it is a time taken for each activity. So each bar represent an activity, time taken for each activity. And the longer the bar is, that means there is difference in time spent by each operator. So we've when we work with our partners, our clients in digital marketing agencies, we do time and motion study with them. So if I am a campaign manager, I set up a campaign and I take 20 minutes versus my colleague who can do the same thing in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So that gets plotted on this box. So, and the line at the top are these outliers. So there could be someone like me who would just take 3 hours to set up the same campaign that my colleagues can do in 20 minutes. So ideally, you would want. So this is a real result from one of the clients that we work with, digital marketing agency, uh, and this is one of the good ones, right? We've seen like really really tall towers because there is no real standardization of how you set up a campaign or how you do a QA on a campaign or how you optimize or what kind of reports do you send out to the client. There's no set procedures, right? So again, ideally, you would want your bars to be really, really thin so that there is less what we call in Six Sigma term inter-operator variance. Uh, so how do you get to that is again standardizing of what we call menu of service. So the first is right, the menu of service should be written down clearly defined. Then the standard operating procedure, right? That is something that we find missing in a lot of organizations. Just setting basic of setting up campaigns, reporting, optimization, not talking about planning, media buying, the core, the boring, the manual work, right? That's where we need to standardize and make that efficient. Uh, Again, this also helps you with lesser errors. I'm sure a lot of you who've done campaign management by yourself are hands-on. I'm sure that there would have been one campaign that you launched that you didn't want to, that you didn't intend to, or one campaign that you paused that you didn't intend to, or deleted an entire account for that matter if you are as clumsy as me. Uh, so it eliminates a lot of those errors if we are able to get these basics right. And again, we understand these are basics, but just writing them down and following them makes all the difference. And we've seen that difference coming from our clients. Again, it might, the standardization might, and automation, when we talk about it, it might come across as threatening to some people. Some people might feel that, the average Joe might feel that it's gonna take away my job. They are counting my minutes, they're counting my bathroom breaks. It's not that, right? So what we are trying to do, what we try to do is reduce the manual, non-value adding work, right? And if you see the graph on the right hand side, this is again a real survey result that we got from one of the agencies, where people feel that it's only 30 to 40% of their time that they spend on in their role is real value adding. The rest isn't. They're doing some manual work which isn't really adding value, and they don't like it really. So if you are leading a team of operators, don't be scared of starting this. The team will not despise you for that. Again, there are different areas where you can start with. To start with, breaking down the activities, naming them, because currently a lot of it depends on the maturity or the style that an organization follows. But in a lot of organization, the campaign management part is treated like an art, right? And it's not science, it's not mathematics. Don't put mathematics in digital marketing, right? It's advertising at the end of the day. But again, putting some of these help drive standardization and gives time back to do more value adding work, right? So start with that, and then what we will see in the subsequent slides also will hopefully give you some ideas on how you can reduce that time or take away that time, and let your team or yourself be more productive. Uh, Again, a case study that we've done, again, multiple clients that we've worked with, large technology companies or agencies. Just by addressing some of these, we've seen dramatic results coming. Again, the standardization, it sounds really simple, sounds rudimentary, but just implement that and you will see significant results in terms of time savings showing up. So get that menu of service, get that standard operating procedure, make sure it is followed. While you're writing it all down, you will realize there are some non-value added activities that you can probably just eliminate. You don't need to do it, or some people don't need to do it, and that's how you get to it. So again, I will move on to the next section, but before that, again, let's try to keep it conversational, right? If any of you have any experience with standardization or anything, have you had this drive in your organization? Please share. I'm really keen to learn where are people in their you know in their sort of, not, I'll not call it maturity, but their style, right? So do you, let's take a poll, right, for that matter, right? Do you, in your jobs, do you follow a standard operating procedure? Do you have a ready reckoner of, this is what I need to do for at least some part of your job? Or you can just throw it over there. You can share, please go ahead.
Is this on? Okay, there we go. In the asset management world, a lot of our data on our websites, our experiences are updated daily, monthly, quarterly. When I joined, a lot of that information was manually copied and pasted and updated. So there was a SOP, standard operating procedure, for making sure we do that correctly. And in the past 6 months, we started to automate all of that data coming into the site to help streamline those repetitive processes.
All right, that's really interesting. And did you see that happening in front of you? Did you see how was the team's experience with that? Did they like the SOP? People, I mean, there are mixed feelings typically when you roll out an SOP.
Yeah, the build of the SOP is not fun. Nobody likes to do that. But once you get the process in place, people understand what you're doing it for.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing.
Hi. Yes, so in our company, we work quite a bit on standardization. I can mention maybe one specific example. So a few years ago, we were migrating all of our sites and for SEO purposes, we had to obviously make sure that all the SEO values carried over to the new sites. And our sites are quite big. They run into sometimes 50,000 pages, 30,000 pages, and it was a very complex task. And we started the first site that we had to migrate. We had to do everything from scratch, and it took us literally months to do. But while we were doing it, we standardized the process. We kind of created an SOP, like you were saying, and together with resources that people can simply follow with templates. So next time we can just follow a sequence of steps, fill out, these resources. This has to be done in this way and that way, and it actually reduced the time from literally from months to we could do migrations almost like within a week or two. So it really went down because we added a few things that could be automated as well. But the first time we did them, we had to do them from scratch, and we had to discover also how to do certain things, which obviously took a lot more time as well. And apart from the time that we reduced, I think the quality even became much better, and people were more assured that we're going to have a better job because there was less room for error. So yeah, definitely, I'm a huge advocate of that.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing. Yeah, standardization, what we've seen is sort of becomes the base or fundamental for you to build an automation. If you want to, it gives you, and again, once you standardize, you start to collect data, and that's when you start leveraging AI ML, right? So yeah, thank you very much for sharing. All right, so moving on. Again, the next one is product automation. So it's basically, again, it's also fundamental, but still underappreciated, right? A lot of teams, a lot of people don't leverage the automation features or the smart features in the product themselves, right? And when I cover this section, we'll focus more on Google Ad Platform because again, it's one of the most comprehensive and sort of the most complex, in a way, platform that if you were to launch a campaign or manage accounts or campaigns, it gives you the maximum options, but that makes things more complex. So again, but recently Google has invested a lot in reducing that complexity that their advertisers or their clients see. And again, one great example is optimization score. So again, if some of you are in the paid media domain, you would have heard about optimization score either through your Google account manager or through internally, or whenever you open your Google Ads account, you see those recommendations. This is again, it might come out as basic as standardization or right, what you do, but this is something that a lot of people don't follow. Again, make sure if in your team or if you are managing ad accounts, leverage this. This can make your life much simpler. So again, it's have your teams make sure they go through the recommendations that you get on this page, apply them. Again, you don't have to just apply them all. There needs to be a human judgment that goes. Because again, it's the machine that's recommending you, and so far we are better than machines, at least from a human judgment perspective. So apply that judgment and then implement these recommendations. Again, be smart, yeah, but leverage all the smart features that these products give you, right from smart bidding to smart creative, smart campaigns, smart audiences. Smart bidding, again, don't again may be fundamental, but again, you don't need to manually adjust your bids when you're running a PPC search campaign, right? Go for a target CPA, target ROAS sort of a bidding strategy. Uh, that's again fundamental, but follow that. Make sure you follow as much as possible. Takes a lot of guesswork work out of manual bid adjustments. Smart creatives, again, a lot of new features. You've got responsive search ads, dynamic search ads from Google. Leverage those. It's not always up to the mark, but most of the times it is able to give you the results that you're looking for, and you don't need to manually keep on updating the titles and the creatives. Smart campaigns, again, Google offers smart campaigns. One of their recent offerings is PMax campaigns, where they've combined a lot of their inventory, and it's ML based, so you don't need to do a lot of manual adjustments there. Again, smart audiences, smart measurement and attribution, go for data driven attribution, and not so much as, depends on the scenario or the funnel you're managing. But again, data driven attribution we've seen gives much better results compared to last click attribution. Again, these features get you ready for the cookieless world, because it is more, again, we've heard cookieless world, and again, all of us have this fear, nightmare sometimes maybe, of this unknown cookieless world that's coming. So these features will help you prepare for those, because they are much more privacy friendly. They are not individually targeted. They are more cohort based as compared to the cookie based solution that we've seen. So again, as we follow it, not going into too much detail, but again, giving you some ideas. So I'll take a pause here and get your views, questions, if any. Have you used some of these features? How many of you are from paid media PPC? If you can raise your hands, that paid media PPC search here. So OptiScore sounds basic, does it? Yeah. How about some of these auto bidding, smart creatives? What do you feel? Do you your team and you use it enough?
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm not really from paid search, more programmatic advertising, and I don't really do any of the campaigns myself. I'd say in our industry we're quite restricted from the iGaming industry, so we don't use a lot of the big players. But yes, definitely use the automated optimizations from all the DSPs that we use. I think results are always better. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing. On this table, any views, any ideas, anything that you feel is not covered in the basics that also is part of the basics sort of toolkit that you follow in your organization? Again, my opportunity to learn from you, from search paid media.
Yes, all right. Yeah, I think if you really are somebody who's working in digital and you don't feel confident with using algorithms and think you can outsmart an algorithm, then I think you're a bit arrogant. So yeah, we try to use it as much as we can, and also have a value-based driven campaigns. So we actually work with revenue or with ROAS or whatever, just so we know what value is created for our clients.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great. So there are no more ideas, we can move on to the next section. This is the sort of process automation on, again, if you are taking sort of step-by-step journey towards bringing efficiency, the first base becomes standardization. You standardize, you have the data collection there. then you start to leverage those product automations, and then comes the next process, sort of process automation. So whatever is that the team is doing, how can we, or is there an opportunity to automate, right? Again, the need is there. So again, in our surveys, in our discussions, we've seen that half of the advertisers are not satisfied with their agency, what they're giving them. Again, it's a lot of times we hear that there isn't a lot of client interface. There is a lot of canned reports that they get, etc. There isn't a lot of personalization there. Again, when we work with a lot of large agencies, again, a lot of their activities are still manual. So again, at the cost of repetition, take those out, automate those, and then that cost that you're able to save, or that bandwidth that you're able to save, can get reinvested in driving growth opportunities, having more, in client acquisitions, getting more face time with your client. So again, multiple ways and multiple, you know, uh, steps you can take. Basic is, so again, start with automation. Can be simple as good old Excel-based macros that we used to build a long time ago, to now ML-based solutions that we have, right? That takes the data. And again, I'm not here to talk about ML, but again, AI ML can be used. It's not that far-fetched, right? It can be used easily in our day-to-day lives. Again, if not, start with basic RPA, right? Use bots. There are a lot of no code. You don't need to be a developer. Uh, and you don't need to have access to a development team to get some of these automated. There are a lot of either low code or no code platforms that can help you, or there are a lot of already existing scripts that are there that you can leverage. And we'll talk about some of those scripts or dashboards in the next few slides. And again, analytics, visualization, you can get from that. Leverage cloud, again, some of the, big data, BigQuery, use the data that if you're managing large accounts, get those account performance exported to BigQuery, managing audiences, etc. So leverage a lot of that. That's our recommendation. Again, step by step, start with the basic scripts. Again, Google Ad scripts. Again, people from the PPC search background, you might have heard about it, you might be using it. But again, make sure that you leverage it enough as well. Again, then you move on to automation tools, and after that, if if there's still a need, we can develop customized bespoke automations. So again, when you talk about scripts, right? So Google has this, and again, I'm talking more about Google because again, it's one of the more complex, comprehensive ad platform out there. So there are a lot of ad scripts that are already available that you can leverage to automate, and so it could be getting account performance summary. It could be and again, we'll see some of that in the next slide, right? So these are just some of those, right? The list is not endless, but there are like at least a couple, I would say, I think hundreds of scripts out there which can automate a lot of what you or your team are manually doing, right? So getting an simple as getting an account summary reports, right? If you are manually downloading, running Excel, or using any other third-party tool, you can use this pre-written code, just run it, and it spits out the data in a Google spreadsheet. It gives you the report of performance summary of your entire account, just like that, right? You can get granular with that. You can get ad performance. You can get keyword performance. How are my keywords performing? How are my ads performing? Just by using some of these, right? And again, these are pre-written. You don't need any coding knowledge for this. You don't need to be a developer or access to development team. Just copy paste and use it. It gives you So there are reports that you can get, and there are some sort of flags that you can set, right? So if you see the anomaly detector, right? So if you are looking at your accounts daily, when I used to manage campaigns, I mean, every morning I wake up and first thing I want to see is how's the account performing, right? So this script can literally automate that. You can run it hourly, you can run it daily, however you want. It identifies if something's gone wrong with your account, right? Let's say today your impression shares have gone down by 80%. And it will compare with the last 26 Mondays, or you can define it, right? If the impression shares have gone down, it will just alert. So that script is there. You just need to copy, paste, and run. You don't need one person sitting there watching the screen. Link checker, right? As the website gets more complex, a lot of links, you don't want your advertisers to go and land on a 404 page. So link checker continues. Although Google does disapprove your ads, and other platforms, they will disapprove your ads if eventually if it's going to a page with an error. But this can proactively, preemptively identify those errors. And if you have a website that's being developed constantly, this could be a good tool for you, for your clients, to just keep a track of all those. Again, there are so if we were to break down, right? So basically, you can get a lot of hygiene. Get the first column, the hygiene. You make sure everything's in order. Then you can get some reports that you want, and after that, you can make bulk edits. So, for example, you want to add 1,000 keywords across your entire account. You don't need to do that manually. That there are multiple scripts that they will do it for you. So leverage that enough. Making bid changes. Again, if you're still not using automated bid strategies, if you're making bid changes, use those scripts. Again, these are bulk operations tools. Uh, Again, some examples: search performance dashboards are there, display performance, video performance, impression share, right? So ad performance, and again, it's a long list. These are all the uh, dashboards. Sorry, I didn't touch upon the dashboard. So again, the first part was more around the script, the tasks that you want to do. You want to get a report. You want to get a report emailed to you or your clients. The second part is about the dashboard. So there are some, and I'll show some pictures here. So there are some predefined data studio dashboards. Again, you don't need to be very high, you don't need to be technically very competent to use data studio based dashboards. It is very, very intuitive. People like me can use it. And there are templates that are there. You can use those templates to, again, reduce the boring work that you do day in, day out. So again, budget or opportunity, performance, shopping performance, search performance, quality scores. You can track all that on these data studio based dashboards. So again, you can go on to developer.google.com to get some of those scripts that are already there, or you can go to GitHub. There are a lot of those. Again, if there is a task that you are manually doing, I would recommend check if there is a script existing for that before you continue to go through that torture. There are high chances that someone has written a script to automate that. So if there are tasks that you do day in, day out in campaign management, find those scripts and use them enough. And again, we end with a case study again. When clients engage us, or when we work with agencies or platforms, we start with these recommendations, pacing, performance dashboards, etc. There are multiple reports. Use them, and again, with these simple automations, we've seen again dramatic results coming. so again, that's the end of this section. And again, any views? I know I'm trying to get a lot of views, but it's my ulterior motive. I want to learn from some of you. Have you seen anything beyond this? Have you, or just do you use it enough, or do you think there's an opportunity to use it more? Again, this would be more relevant to the people from search PPC background. The box is going to fly now. Hi.
Yeah, I did a few of these automatizations and scripts, but the problem for me is that the tools change all the time.
Yeah.
And so the APIs change all the time, and then you have some scripts, they don't work after 3, 4 months or 6 months. You have to adapt them again, and so I don't know. It becomes also a job to maintain them. I don't know what you think about that. But.
Yeah, no, we've seen that, right? Of course, these and your experiences with these Google scripts or some other scripts that the team has written to automate.
Yeah, Google scripts, for example.
Right.
Yeah, Facebook, getting Facebook to Google Sheets, and
then
changing some. Then you need to
right.
use the APIs. They
Yes,
change
of
all the
course.
time. And
yeah. So that's, I guess, you have to maintain. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no other way to just keep up with it. You have to make sure that that is updated. So if there are any changes, we constantly. So again, it's typically we've got teams, and in our teams, you have one person responsible for making sure that's being done. So yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else experiences with ad scripts? Use them, heard about them, find it interesting? All right, no worries. Moving on to, again, specialization. Again, this is something that we will be keeping it at a high level, right? This is one of the sample skill identification and skill development that we did with a large organization. Again, talent, talent over technology. It's the talent that drives or that adoption of technology. So making sure the team, any TNI or training need identification, framework that your organization use, you can leverage that, identify, which areas are the gaps, creating those skill shops, making sure that you've got a plan for that. So again, creating those resident experts for this. So again, some of the things that we believe all of us have to keep up with, right? So again, test, adopt new technology. There are a lot of experiments, features that come in. Be an early adopter. That's what we recommend, and test, because sooner or later it's going to become mainstream. Analytics is one focus area that all of us should have. Again, there is AI and analytics is getting combined with a lot of these cloud offerings. So be it BigQuery or any other platform that you use. Again, it might look, it sounds daunting, but it doesn't require a lot of technical know-how. Again, I talk about it because it's from my perspective. I don't understand technology that in that much detail. But again, some of these, for example, BigQuery, you can use it very easily. It's very easy to connect, and you are leveraging AI ML to do a lot of your work done. Again, spend time when you automate, when you take that time out from your daily tasks, when you've standardized automated tasks, you get time. Use that time to spend time on the clients, making sure you've got your eyes on the margins and all the other good stuff, right? And again, whenever you've got automation initiatives going on, make sure that you give input to that or adopt that. So again, some things that we believe we've seen all digital marketers need to just keep in mind. Again, we've got different frameworks, but again, making sure where you are in your maturity, digital transformation maturity journey, map, score yourself on these sort of 5 pillars, and then see where you have to be. It could be yourself, or it could be your team that you're managing, and again, there's a change management, GE change management, formula of E is equal to Q cross A, right? So effectiveness of any change is as good as the quality, but how well people adopt that change. So that's the second aspect. Is typically when we start to drive change in any organization is a little is not focused on that much. So make sure the adoption is also covered. Otherwise, the quality of the idea or the quality of the initiative doesn't, it doesn't stick. You have to make sure that the change stick. And again, I see the time is up, so I kept again, just introducing ourselves. Again, it's not supposed to be a sales presentation, but so I kept this slide at the end. Who's Cognizant? So Cognizant is, as I mentioned, we are a large Fortune 500, Fortune 200 company. You can see some of those numbers on the standing banner there on your right. But in our digital marketing practice, we've got, we cover a lot of logos. These are some of the referenceable clients. Again, everything from media planning to optimization reporting. We've got people supporting a lot of large clients with that. And again, this is just to put it out there for introduction. So with that, I end my presentation, and I'm happy to take questions if you've got any suggestions. Thank you. That's the end. I know I'm probably standing between your lunch, so we can make it quick, or but use this to ask questions or share anything that you feel that it's not been covered.
Yes. Of course, there are some people that need to be working on your standardized operations and processes and stuff like that. Do you think there is some sort of a number or a percentage, as in the amount of operational people, how many people you would actually need to make sure that your standard procedures are still up to date?
Sorry, is it to make sure that?
Yeah, so for instance, you have like 100 people who are really the operators and doing stuff. How many people do you think you will actually need to make sure that your standard operations are always up to date? Because like my colleague also mentioned, your APIs will change, your platforms will change, your way of work will change because you will try some new strategies as well. So how many people do you think, just in terms of percentages, that you would actually need with the amount of operators?
Yeah, I think so. That's a great question, and we've seen, again, if it depends on the scale of the team also, and it's sort of a step function. So you don't, if your team is, let's say, 50 to 500, team, you don't need more than 3 to 4 people focusing, on making sure that the hygiene is there, the scripts are running well, the dashboards are up and about, and they are giving the right, right data to everyone. So, and again, the skills of those people, again, the smaller the team is, the more skilled you would need them to be. Again, they should be, again, you don't need hardcore Java developers there, but people who've got experience, what we call in our team process excellence. They are the people who understand basics of technology, APIs, how to use, basics. They can tweak the codes and also have a business interface. So and analytics, so you need people with a combination of that. And they're, honestly, we've been trying to find them. They're very difficult to find, that particular skill set. So you might have to end up getting 3 or 4 people who complement each other in terms of skills. So you can have one person who's good in development, another person who's good with analytics, one person who's good with process understanding. So you can make a small, heavyweight SWAT team for that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Sure. Any questions? Anything that you feel is being done and is not covered here?
Hi. Maybe you covered this, but I missed it perhaps. You mentioned on one of the earlier slides vendorization of non-core services. Can you tell us a bit more about that? I think you're referring there to maybe getting rid of some work.
So can you get closer to the mic?
Sorry, yes. Yeah, so can you tell us a bit about the vendorization of non-core services part?
Sure. So again, vendorization, again, we've not covered too much here because it depends on the context, right? So again, of the organization. So typically we've seen agencies and platforms either vendorizing or hubbing. You can take out some of those activities and just either outsource. We've seen one of the agencies we were working with. They had a good they had teams very good with platforms like Google, etc. But they didn't know Amazon that much. So they outsourced that particular to another agency. Agency outsourcing to another agency. So one could be depending on the skill of your team, some aspects that your team is not good at. So one aspect is that. Another aspect is identifying the non-core that you feel, right? So it could be as simple as reporting, right? You generate so many reports. Every campaign manager creates so many reports, sending to clients, etc. You can, that could be a non-core activity depending on what your organization feels. Identifying, combining those non-core activities and either vendorizing that or creating a hub to do that, getting the right people to do the right tasks. So that could be another approach.
Thanks.
Questions, suggestions? All right, so thank you very much for your audience and not sleeping in my session. I really appreciate that. Thank you.